Welcome to another in the series, Sip and Chat, a place where we talk about the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living. It's our pleasure this afternoon to be coming into your homes and to be talking about the goodness of the Lord. Welcome to another in the series, Sip and Chat. It's our pleasure to be able to come into your homes this afternoon. So wherever you are, you probably be, at work. Some persons are, probably at church. You're probably one of the fortunate 10, or you're probably just at home chilling this afternoon. We want to extend a warm welcome to all of our viewers. Another exciting evening as we have a very interesting guest who is going to bring to light some of the things that he's doing in our little island here of Jamaica and the impact that he's making as a young man. And there are so many more young persons who are making an impact, and not just in their community, but in Jamaica at large. So this afternoon, I want to welcome to the studios of MTM and Sip and Chat. I want to welcome Mr. Milton Tomlinson, President of the Mountain View. Is it the Youth Club?
Mountain View Community Development Council.
Right, the Community Development Council. That's indeed a very, very big title. And he's going to be telling us this afternoon. We're going to start, Milton, welcome. Just a little bit about who you are, and then we're going to get into the meat of the matter, as we often say.
First, let me say I'm just a well-thinking Jamaican, somebody who is really patriotic to the country, and want to see young people realize their true potential, and for Jamaica to establish itself in the global space as a place where people don't want to leave, right? A place where you can do your business and you can feel free to enjoy nature. I'm originated from Mountain View, Tarburn, Jared Sanders, Backbush. Those are my areas in Mountain View.
Yes.
I was a part of the Long Mountain Community Youth Club. Went to Winwood with all age. Grew up in Cub Scouts, St. Andrew Scout Troop in Halfway Tree.
Yes.
Right. Also, Independence Cadet Unit over by Upper Camp, St. Benedict's Jump Corps. So I was
You're very engaged, young man.
I'm very engaged. I try to engage myself in some positive things, and not to leave out the Sunday school, because Mountain View New Testament, Solomon Levy. At some point, I used to attend Sabbath school at Rallington Town Seventh-day Adventist Church as well.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was very busy, and because of those engagements, I think it shaped me into who I am today, and it also gave me that drive, to push and help others to realize their true potential.
Very good. No, I mean, just sitting here listening to you, people would probably think that, boy, you're probably like 120.
That's true.
But it just goes to show. So as a person who, came in, lived in Mountain View, grew up in what we call some of the hard parts of Jamaica, you're, in the city,
Definitely.
you're saying
city
that,
boy.
City boy, right? Yeah. But you're saying that one of the things that you did was that you're very engaged in community activities.
And all of that was up to about 23 years old. After 23, then I take on a different set of engagement, more national things. So the Kingston and St. Andrew Action Forum, KSF out of startup UNDP, Dr. Noel Watson, that's where I was. Got involved through Patrick Ware with the SDC, and organizing football competitions, stuff like that. Start volunteering with the Peace Management Initiative.
So let me just ask you, did you ever sleep?
Yes. I mean, sometimes I wonder, and trust me, when you love what you do, you don't feel the pressure at no time. I just love to be involved,
Right.
I like to be engaged in positive stuff, you know.
Talk to us about that, Milton. I hear you, you've been involved from you were young, you were involved in the Cadet Corps, you were involved in a lot of youth activity. What is it that really prompted you? What was the drive to be so engaged? Was it your mom? Was it the system? What were you trying to do? What was the objective?
Well, all right. So, interestingly, I could say my mom would ask me how.
Mm-hmm.
Ask me how. No, we couldn't go out. Just school and home. The only way you can go back through that gate is if you go in church or you're involved in something positive, like all those movements I spoke about.
Oh, I see. So those movements initially
Exactly.
was your excuse.
My excuse, my getaways. Yeah,
Right.
Yeah, but after doing it, you find that genuine love,
Right.
And I mean, I grew up without a father present, I grew up with a stepfather. You always. I'm someone who always try to listen, try to learn. I always like learning.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man. I always like learning new stuff, being involved. I would say I love the national flavor.
Right.
I would say that.
So you're a born Jamaican, a Jamaican
Definitely.
that loves to be Jamaican, as Budge said.
Definitely.
Right?
Definitely.
I mean, one who embraces the flag and the country and, just patriotic. And that is something that we find that is very lacking today in our Jamaican society, even with the children that, they'll catch on so much of the hip hop, they'll know about the Korean music and so on, but not very patriotic to their homeland, Jamaica. Patrick, talk to us about what led you into service, Milton. What led you into service as a young man?
Funny. All right, so let me say, growing up in my time was totally different from a youngster growing up now.
Okay.
We did not have so much distraction.
Mm-hmm.
We did not have as much international. We didn't have social media.
Mm-hmm.
Those international stations, those movies, and all these cable channels and all these things. We talked
TVJ.
No, yes, JBC man, I
So you know about when
they
they
sign off on the lines on the television, yeah, man. I know all about that, man.
Okay, okay.
When afterwards you get like radio here on JBC,
Right,
yeah,
right.
Man. Yeah, man. I tell you though, I think it has a lot to do with our education system.
Mm-hmm.
People talk about education system and people look at it from top down. But education system is actually from grassroots up. That is how you capture the masses.
Okay.
If it is that you want people to behave like Jamaicans, feel Jamaica, and be proud of who they are, you have to start from the basic school, early childhood system.
Okay.
Right? You have to have these kids. If you check right now, just go out in half a tree and call two youngsters and say, give me a national pledge.
Mm-hmm.
You'll be shocked to know they can't. They don't know it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You need to start in the basic schools. Have them doing the national pledge in the morning. In the evening, stand attention. Do the anthem.
Mm-hmm.
Teach them more about Jamaica. You understand? Because when they get home, they only know about tuning into a station and the cable TV. These kids are you call victim of circumstances, in the sense that when they go home, mommy watching soap opera. Daddy may be watching some other movie.
Right.
So they really don't have a say in what they watch. So at school, I think the system was so structured that they are forced from early.
And you're thinking now that as we look about the development of young people and national pride,
That's
what
it.
we're seeing that we need to get back to some basic principles where morals and values, even though they're taught in the home, but there should be some things that reinforce at the school. And so even like the national anthem are part of it, the pledge for school.
But I beg to differ though,
Okay.
When you say teach in the home,
Mm-hmm.
to be honest, I don't think it is so much in the home.
Okay.
And we don't need, when you say get back to what is that? It's just one word you need to say.
What is the one
Just
word?
get back to being Jamaican.
Okay.
The good old Jamaican parents.
And
right?
what is that good old Jamaican parenting?
Values. attitude.
So we come back again,
Come back again, right? So you put it in the package and say, be the good old Jamaican.
Oh, so you're saying I must package it like that.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah, because the good old Jamaican parent, like I said to somebody yesterday, if I took home, for example, this thing here, and my mother she didn't bought it for me. She asked, where me get it?
Mm-hmm.
And when me tell her where me get it from, she going to say to me, oh, that person can afford it to give you.
Exactly.
And, next morning, it's me and her, it go down to school, go find out how you afford to give this to Milton.
Exactly.
That's how I was brought up.
Mm-hmm. So those are the good old Jamaican principles.
Yeah, it's not like today's day when, a youngster come in with KFC and a big bike and have a car park outside and fish and oxtail every Saturday and Sunday and everybody partake and that man don't get up till 12 o'clock in the day. You understand me? You don't know if him having a 9 to 5 or anything like that. Something must be wrong.
Very interesting. So what we're saying here is that as we look on this bigger issue, why we need organizations such as PMI, we're saying that we need to get the Jamaican, the foundation of just being Jamaican, some of the things that we grew up with, and as you rightfully said, that is so very true, because I can just imagine, if I know for my own self as well, and many people in Jamaica are watching, they can recall, coming home, as you rightfully say, with something that mommy didn't buy, auntie didn't give it to you, and taking you back with the item, to make sure that whoever you gave it to you, it was returned. And in any case, they would want to know how was that person able to afford it. So very good. Now, tell me, as you see the Jamaica changing and we're where we are today, I know you mentioned the media and the influence. Tell me some of the other influence that you think that has shifted our culture to know where we are today that is so negative and we have to be having these challenges that we're having.
Well, I mean, globalization, globalization, and it's something you can't run from.
Mm-hmm.
But if you look in some other jurisdiction, they stand firm to their culture.
Mm-hmm.
And they slowly introduce whatever it is. You understand? But you call it, they keep a steady diet on their culture.
Mm-hmm.
We need to do so in Jamaica because, people travel. I'm not sitting here and saying to you, boy, we must go back to our Bacawal days or nothing like that. I'm just talking about core values and principles.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
You understand? Some simple things. Because people think it's a mountain that get you. It's not a mountain, We go back to the days where people tell you, man has carried through the world without 1 cent.
Mm-hmm.
People take it and say, boy, man has, but they don't understand
principles.
When it's a simple principles.
Right.
We need to continue teaching values and attitude in schools. One of the things that hurt me when I walk around Kingston or anywhere for that, any community for that matter, when I look and see the shrubs, the vegetation growing up on the sidewalks, in the corners and the places stay away.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody wants to do that until a contract come.
Right.
Growing up as youth, we just come so. Jump up by some paint, get to mash it.
So so what has happened is that we have become a society that is just built on reward and recognition.
Definitely.
So nobody does anything for for pride of country and for pride of person.
Exactly.
It's just all about, okay, I do this, I need to be paid for it.
Exactly.
And so Milton, as we're here today, and tell us a little bit about the role of the PMI and what is their main objective?
All right, the PMI's objective, is to facilitate peace in the community by way of many different processes.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Mediation and other means, but mediation is the key factor. We do a lot of work right across Jamaica. We do a lot of preventative work as well as reactive work. You understand?
Oh, that's interesting, because I thought you go into a community based on an issue, but now I'm understanding from you that you also do preventative intervention.
All right, so let's say community here have a flare up.
Mm-hmm.
We go to community here and we do some work in community A. We build a relationship with community A. After leaving community A, I want to say leave, that heavy engagement taper down because we bring the community to a level now,
Right.
acceptable level where people start to move around back and, the guys start to interact. Now, what we do, we start to do preventative work in those communities,
Okay, I'm understanding.
right? So the big thing for us to run into a community is when it flare up.
Mhm.
But what is happening, what we realize starts to happen is when community flare up, you go in, you start the preventative work. A man will come to you and say, boy, so why you come over community see because a little thing out to go on a community see. No, that the police won't hear.
Okay.
The police won't hear that. The police will never know that. So when we get that information, because he is between community A and C.
Okay.
So when he introduced us now, we met him in A now. He introduced us in C now.
Right.
So we have dialogue with the guys and we talk with them and we do what is necessary, what is to be done to prevent
Okay.
whatever it is from happening.
Because something could be now about to be brewing in B.
Exactly.
Or between A and C.
Exactly.
Okay, that's very interesting. So there are so many things that are happening on the ground that we're not aware of. So if I'm understanding you clearly, you're saying that with the role of the PMI, sometimes person will actually solicit your intervention, not necessarily from the hierarchy of those above.
People just call the office.
Okay.
People just call the office and said, this is happening or this is about to happen in my community. And we say, okay, but how can we come? I can let you talk to my grandson.
Okay.
Come, I can let you talk to my baby father, my brother-in-law, my brother, my uncle, my father.
Okay.
And you go in and you talk to the father, and the father say, boy, all right, I'll talk to the youth and get them together. The state don't know about that because it never made the news. But with PMI now, as it is right now today, not out there, don't have a capital budget, working on projects, and basically not being recognized by the present government.
Okay.
You see what is happening.
Right.
And for PMI, for any organization, and let us not say PMI, let us stop saying PMI for a minute then.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever the organization name that would even do half of what we do out there in the community, those organizations are needed now on the ground. And it is hard to pick up when these guys go back. It is not an easy thing. So right now in Jamaica, we got 4 years backward. I would say 4 to 6 years backward right now.
Just in terms of social mobilization on the ground.
Exactly.
Right.
Right now, the youth, they're not interested in moving right now. Them have to respect you.
So what had happened is that you had built up this momentum within communities. There was dialogue going on.
Definitely.
Mothers could call you, could talk to the youth. A youth would respond to you in a positive way.
Definitely.
But you're saying now, with all of that has been taken away in terms of the strength of the PMI from the support groups, you're not as impactful as you.
Exactly.
But you're still doing some work. Tell me what you're doing.
Yeah, man. So right now, we're in Whitfield Town, sections, I think Spanish Town. We're still chipping away in some communities, not in full force like we'd want to, but we're still chipping away. And one thing for sure, once we enter a community, whether 10 years ago, 13 years, 18 years ago, because I'm with PMI from 2003, and no matter what time, we never ever lose that relationship. People always calling. The problem that we have is lack of resources to even help them do anything.
Right.
So that in itself is a burden to us.
All right. So for those persons who are out there, right, as we're here sipping away, let me have a, as we're here sipping away, to people that are out there who don't understand, just give us a little synopsis of what exactly you do when I say, for example, I'm in a community and I reach out to PMI. Tell me, for example, a typical case of how you intervene,
All right,
what you
so,
do.
If you
So I'm
reach out
community A.
Yeah, all right. So community A, you reach out to PMI. All right, we come to the community.
Mm-hmm.
We may come through your youth group. We may come through a church.
Okay.
Whatever organization, they would invite us, a citizens association, invite us to a meeting, talk about what is happening or what is about to happen, the tension that is in the community. Then we would take it from there. Know the necessary intervention that we have to do in terms of getting the right people to talk to, set up the little mediation meeting, you know, set up the little focus group, you know, we call them, we give them all sort of names because
Right.
you have to structure the thing in a way that drives people's interest. That people want to be there, want to talk with you. You know, then, you know, we probably could start, you know, by sponsoring a little church league or something in the community just to bring about our presence in the community. You know, so that is where we start the relationship building. Then we get to the key stakeholders because communities are made up of people. The people are the stakeholders. If it is that a dozen persons live in a community, for example, and 8 of them, 4 of them do everything in the community, and the other 8 just sit back and allow them, then that 4 becomes the key stakeholders.
Okay.
You have to start talk with them, you know, because the community choke everything onto them. So those are the people you have to find and talk to.
So within every community, even if everybody is not engaged, if you can get a fraction of the community to be engaged, they will be the catalyst of change in the community.
That is correct. That is correct. And look, the community is like a chain, you know. Remember now. It's a web as well. Family. So at some point in time, some conversation will be held. Whether on a street corner, in a household, in a bar, wherever, you know, and that in itself bring about a level of sensitization, a level of consciousness, you know. We get to some youth to talk with them, you know, we put on, we would have like a information fair or something where we try to get youths in various programs. We would collaborate sometimes with CSJP. We work with a lot of agencies. A lot of agencies, you know.
So Milton, if I'm understanding you clearly, right? You're saying that as we seek to restore Jamaica and we have to recognize who we are as Jamaicans, what is it that has brought us this far as a nation?
Exactly.
Our sense of pride of place in the country. You talk about simple things like just keeping our environment clean, just being respectful of each other's property. So often we see people, and it's amazing how things can, just escalate, because if a child today brings home a pencil that is not his pencil, and mommy doesn't say anything, and he feels empowered to just bring home something that is not it. Before, those are the same people that you find just go and just take something from somebody, and they can't even defend it.
No.
So, but let me ask you this, Milton. You think there's any hope for Jamaica based on what you see out there in your involvement in PMI, a young man? Are we making any headway?
So my involvement is not is much broader than PMI. So like I say, I'm a justice of the peace as well.
Right.
Right. I am the community relations officer at the Excelsior Community College. Right, and I engage with youths. It's just since Corona, we don't have that great level, but as it relates to whatever platform, I'm still engaging with youths. Right now, we're putting together a strong mentorship program. Virtually. Using board games. Chess as our pilot and stuff like that. So we really believe. Personally, I believe there's hope.
Oh, there's hope. That's good to hear. Right,
there's hope,
right.
But it is a challenge, and it takes all hands on deck, right? And it don't need no upmanship.
Right.
It don't need no beat chess. It don't mean no liquid. It just means that everybody have to know, say, yo, we love Jamaica, and we have to admit the truth. The thing gone wrong. Let us bring it back now.
So there's an urgency for restoration.
Of course.
And the time is now.
The time is now.
And we have to cut across all kind of divides and just
all kind of divides, of course.
First of all, we are Jamaicans.
Exactly.
I like that, Milton. I just want to touch on this very quickly because, on Sip and Chat, the time always go very quickly and there's always so much to discuss. But talk to me, when you interact with some of those young men, I'm sure there are ladies involved, but there's usually more men involved in what is happening in terms of the disturbances. Am I correct?
Yeah, more men involved on the front, but a lot of women in the back pushing,
Oh, okay.
A lot of women in the back pushing, because sometimes you get to the roots of an issue in a community, you have to go through all 2, 3, 4 women, you know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, so it's real.
So the question I really want to get at though, do you find that the absence of the father figure in the home has really impacted negatively some of these kind of young boys that we're seeing and their behavior?
All right. Let me say this. It takes 2 to parent to grow a child in a balanced way.
Right.
And in Jamaica, you also have homes where mothers are absent.
Okay.
Right? Because I am one who brought up 2 of my kids without mother around. Right? And
congrats, we hardly have your kind.
Yes,
and we need to highlight your kind as well.
Yeah, man, you have a lot of young men out there now. Honestly, a whole heap of man out there do them thing, man. It's more than people talk, to be honest. A whole heap of them a try. A whole heap of them a try right now, believe me. And if you check it, a lot of them a spend more time with the youth them more than the mothers. Yeah, man, the thing take time to flip, so that's why we need to bring it back. We need to draw it back because, well, a lot of young female understand, that no matter how we go on as male, I want to run the things till,
Okay.
I want to run the things till, I'll respect you to you guys, the females,
Right.
because men do things to please women.
Okay.
You understand me? So when a woman lower her standard, she go and get dirt, But once the ladies keep the bar high, man, I lift up them thing.
Right.
You understand?
Because they want to go higher.
Because they want to go higher.
Right. But so I appreciate what you're saying. You're saying that in the home, you really need that balance between the mother as a caregiver and the father as the caregiver. Because a lot of our young boys, they suffer what we call the father wound. And because sometimes in your case, you have been a father there with your children. But sometimes the person that they see as role models is sometimes what is also a challenge. And boys sometimes don't get that kind of affirmation that they want from that man, And then the person who affirmed them is not usually affirming them for the positive.
So you see what I'm talking about now, about the schools, about your education system. A school is a place where youth spend more time, more hours of the day. You understand me? So teachers must be well paid and well rounded. Because when I used to go to Winward with all age, I tell you that school made me what I am. Winward with all age. I learned a lot of fundamentals. Like responsibility. We had a bird in our class. We had a rabbit. Everybody get a different weekend to take home that pure bird or that rabbit.
So you're being taught responsibility.
You're being taught responsibility from early. Do you understand me? So I am not one. My mother was one who really fathered me. Yeah, I have a stepfather. I had a stepfather, but it's not someone who would jump around with me in that way, and stuff like that. My mother taught me a lot.
Right.
You understand? And my school, we don't have all age. I big it up, Mr. Duncan, Mrs. Duncan from them time. Yeah.
We're really proud of you, Milton. Just seeing that you are a young man and from a very young age, as you were saying that. Even though you initially started coming out of the yard and going to these youth engagement activities, scout and so on, as an outlet to get out of the yard, you found a place where you could contribute, and then here you are today, so involved in so many civic activities, and that's commendable for a young man.
Those are some of the things that saved me, because as a young youth, you go and get involved, you go and dip, you go and dabble. You understand me? But it is the value system that will bring you back.
That's powerful.
Yeah.
That's a powerful point.
Yeah, man.
So you're saying you can you can be in the system, or called the ghetto or whatever.
Yeah, of course.
But as long as you have a good parenting that guides you along the little routes, and nurture you, you're able to understand that, listen, some things happen around yourself, but not everything that happens around yourself is gonna happen to you or with us.
Exactly.
You understand? And you have to keep your chin up.
Exactly.
Keep your chin up at all times, because as for me and my house, like Joshua would say,
exactly,
we serve God, and it's a different principle.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Just any final words that you want to say to our viewers about, just as we look forward to the hope that you spoke about. Any final words?
Well, just like, for us to remember, no matter where in the world you go, people is going to ask you where you're from. You're going to say Jamaica. And once you say Jamaica, a man might say to you, boy, I want to go there, let me buy a ticket, you can't come to your community because you never contribute towards building your community. You understand me? You never do nothing positive. You understand me? You probably can't come to Jamaica because of what you do. You understand me? So I say, make each one of us just come together, Jamaica land we love, do some positive things and build our community one step at a time, you know?
Well, here we have it, Mr. Milton Tomlinson. We need a better Jamaica for our youths. Today, as we look, it seems dark and gloomy, but we're believing God that all things are possible. And we know that there are a number of organizations, churches, and so on who continue to work. And we lift our hats to those persons who are committed to nation building. Thanks you again, Mr. Milton. And we look forward to seeing you another time while we sip and chat. Thank you very much.